How can you even move around in that thing? It looks awful to even put on.
We can go for a pint right about now. Come on, what you say?
Well, what is it, advisor? The hag couldn't speak to me herself.
Morosa has become increasingly distressed following the rumors and supposed activity within this town. And with the royalty of Evermore, to discuss the claim of this fiefdom and your position in it. If you do not cease with the disruption of trade, your privileges will be relinquished.
Enough! But well past your merit. Tell that dog-faced shrewd old bitch that if she meddles any further with this town...
Please, Mordephane, consider what you're saying.
Did I grant you the luxury to interrupt? Trust me with my name again, and your neck will be kissing the axe.
Yes, I am sorry, my lord.
Then you, advisor, relay the message to that crone that if she dares poke her nose within Arnima again, her bridge will fall into the current below.
Understood. I will pardon your words so she can hear them.
Come for aid? Exactly what I expected. An attempt to squeeze blood from stone. Mordephane, in all his wisdom, has deemed it fit to sever ties with our neighbors. Now we wait for Morosa's response. And be assured it will not be pretty. All these years, and our lord has become even more bitter. He'll never forget what happened all those years ago. Was it her death? Or is it the state of this town? Both? Quiet! Have the sense not to call for such sabotage while we're watched. Though your proposition brings another idea. Rumors have stirred about an important individual, a descendant of Mados, and from what we know, he resides not too far from the kingdom's capital, the hamlet nestled to the west of us, called Tabandra. Image, my friend, the armor we've maintained from Mados' fatal excursion still shows its majestic craft after all these years. Evermore is a very welcome change of tone from the dreary scenery here. Been a long while since I've made the journey there myself. Hope you don't get too comfortable upon those lush knolls, though. We're pressed with an urgent concern. A gathering of witchmen to the north are engaged in some
Can't wait to
communion.
get out of this
Nothing
old
before has
dung
been
pit
quite
town.
like it. And if whatever they conjure up comes marching down the valley, then we'll need all our allies. Blessings for your future journeys.
Spit it out.
Hang on.
Going places, wrecking faces.
I'm warning you. Back off.
Speak. All right then.
I'm warning you. Back off.
The Ancestor Glade was a sight to see. We should go back and visit, if we have the time.
That's all you got? Lucky hit.
I'd like to grab a pickaxe myself and see what fancy bubbles a dig like this has in store.
Let's hope the miners didn't unearth anything besides precious stones, if you take my meaning. Right behind you. Not for all the gold in Skyrim would I spend my life working in these tunnels.
You have questions?
Until you want something from me? Thank you. Here, this is for you. Always good talking to you, friend.
If I were the cynical type, I would say these priests are using us to do their dirty work.
Yeah. Good day. Nice to see you people haven't been overrun by plague. The moment I hear you cough, though. Oh, by the eight, not again! Will my children be expected to become fabled heroes too? A dozen times at least. And my father before me. Each time someone's horse is stolen or some exile's mug a merchant. Tell me about it. They claim to respect him, yet they put him on display in death. Deny the old man burial for years. You seem alright. And I do hate to make you a bearer of bad news. Let me fetch you some wine for your trouble. Who hasn't? Why? Dark magic. That actually sounds worthy of Mados. You know what? You're right. Last thing I want is to go down in history as Rados, twice as tall and twice as yellow as any. I'm in, friend. Lead the way. Oh, none too unusual. There was even a joke that that's what you call a temple, a sewer and a wall brought together. However, there was a real sense of community. We were proud like the Reachmen should be. We're older than the three empires combined. Most of the world doesn't know we exist, and the Bretons want to believe we don't. Back then, Mortivain seemed like the finest lord that place had ever seen. Strict but fair, blunt but honest, a terrific swordsman on top of that. Well, the siege of Raven Spring had changed it all. Those 2 months broke some in ways healers could do nothing about. The hero's death, the doom of Grey Belmore, the bodies mounted on the pikes. My father couldn't handle Mados' demise. Took to the bottle, and in the following years there wasn't much left of him. And Mortivain had lost his wife. That alone had made a man once called Maid of Iron, fearful for his life, secretive, and cruel. And soon he had the bodies on the pikes make a return. This new Mortivain could have been Maid of Iron, all right. So many he had put to death with it. Anyone could be accused of treason and put to death, neither painless nor swift. So the people were afraid of gathering or even talking too loud. We felt like we were living on borrowed time. No one dared speak up against the Lord, but by that time he was so severely paranoid he needed an excuse rather than a reason. And all of it under the watchful dead eye of old Mados, hoisted like a deer carcass. It was sickening. So I left. Simple as that. Some would say I should have tried to be the big damn hero. Jack has had a plan already, no doubt, but it's the soul of the town that was gone, and bringing that back is no task for a blade. And that's the end of my story so far. As always to you foreigners. That's simple. There was no Reach before that. The Reach is, and always has been, its people. And the Reachmen haven't had a calm night in centuries. Orcs, Witchmen, Nords, Bretons. And it's not like the Bretons themselves get along. You wish. There's a bleeding mess of a kingdom next to ours called Wayrest. And some 14 years ago we went to war with it. King Uta, also called the Owl. Nay, his cheeks. Well, Uta had some beautiful daughters, you see, each one from a different queen. And King Sigmain was quite fond of one of them, something Uta wasn't too fond of himself. In the span of 2 weeks, more than 1,000 men were dead on both sides. Such was the war over a princess's canny. Not when she's 9 years of age. Damn near cost his majesty his head. During one of his visits, Uta had Sigmain taken prisoner, and his retainers banished from the kingdom. Aye, some weeks later. Small wonder he wanted to see Wayrest go up in flames after such humiliation. I was levied 3 days after, and a week later, the army was well on the move towards Wayrest. Must have looked weird back in Evermore. Couldn't do it before, so many of his own men were slaughtered, it seems. Funny thing is, I've always hoped to visit the city of Wayrest as a child. Now I'm partly to blame that I never will. Nasty is the word that comes to mind. We were outnumbering them 6 to 1, but the skirmishes were so fierce. Our Venturiers had set the countryside ablaze with their spells. Those were windy months, so by the time my unit had reached the city of Wayrest, the smoke was everywhere. And let me tell you, war is hard enough even when you can breathe. Nothing good. The trade had stopped, the crime ran rampant, and in the following years not a corner remained in the entire realm that wasn't raided and sacked. Today, one of the base's largest cities is not even worth conquering anymore. And half our military has to guard the border against those who blame Evermore. That's no wonder. It was broken up by the hand-picked squad of scouts. They crossed the border wearing burlap robes and posing for pilgrims. One of them, a devout priest of Mara running an orphanage, paid some guards off to see the molester king and spit in his face. Made quite a scene, you can imagine. He also passed Sigma in a scroll of recall, with a mark already placed in the woods nearby. Not a single drop of bloodshed. Well, it wasn't me who told you this, but a certain scout commander from Arnima kind of came up with the whole plan. Wasn't me who told you, friend. Well, I wasn't planning on leaving my friends, you know. I was leaving the town Ravenspring had become. All right, then. I'm right behind you.
So, you know your way with a blade, huh?
We could
Blessings
go for a
upon
pint
you.
right about now. Come on, what you say?
Oh, Raven.
Good day. You've succeeded where many of those who came before had failed. I was right in sending you. Must have made a strong argument for a man to leave the safety of the West for the chaos here.
This way, the Ravenspring
Just like
line
Mados then.
remained unsolved.
It may be that we rekindle the fighting spirit here. Make us strong again. And who better to lead the way than you two heroes? Humility
right
is a
behind
valuable
you.
trait. Cherish it. Yet, for what's to come, a humble hand cannot suffice. We need you to be strong. The Witchmen have struck terror into us Reachmen. But you are not a Reachman. Unburdened by our faults and fears. You're exceptional. I'll pray for your victory. Good fortunes. Take a guess. Treason. So yes, they upset the law. Though that doesn't take much these days. If only it were that easy. You must realize that it's not only him we have to worry about, but the guard. They're almost as intolerant as our strict but fair lord. It doesn't help that they feel their actions justified from dangers beyond the walls. It's become such a vicious cycle that I can't fathom this ending well. Keep quiet about the grievances you may have. It will do us no good if any more decent people find themselves victim to his tyranny. Farewell.